श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की, श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की, श्री वृंदावन धाम की, श्री मायापुर धाम की, श्री शांतिपुर धाम की, श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की, जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा मैया की, गंगा मैया की, यमुना मैया की, तुलसी महारानी की, कलयुग पावन श्री हरे कृष्ण हरिनाम संकीर्तन की, हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की, अद्वैत आचार्य आविर्भाव महोत्सव की, शिला प्रभुपाद ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू श्री श्री गुरु एंड श्री गौरांगा.
जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी, गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी, गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी, यशोदनंदना ब्रज जनरंजना, यशोदानंदना ब्रज जनरंजना, यशोदानंदना ब्रज जनरंजना, यमुना तीरावनचारी, यमुना तीरावनचारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी, गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी, यशोदनंदना ब्रज जनरंजना, यमुना तीरावनचारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। हरे कृष्ण. So, today being the auspicious day of Shri Advaita Acharya's appearance day, so today we will be discussing from Shri Chaitanya Charitamrit. Generally we discuss from Srimad Bhagavatam. The third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam is going on right now, but today being the auspicious appearance day of Srila Advaita Acharya, we'll be discussing from Shri Chaitanya Charitamrit. So we'll be discussing from the Adi Leela of Shri Chaitanya Charitamrit, first chapter, 13th verse. So I'll chant, you can please chant after me. Advaitam Harinadvaitat Acharyam Bhakti Shamsanat Bhaktavataramisham Tam Advaitacharyamashreye. Advaitam Harinadvaitat Acharyam Bhakti Shamsanat Bhaktavataramisham Tam Advaitacharyamashreye. Advaitam Harinadvaitat Acharyam Bhakti Shamsanat Bhaktavataramisham Tam Advaitacharyamashreye. Advaitam Harinadvaitat Acharyam Bhakti Shamsanat Bhaktavataram Isham Tam Advaitacharyamashreye. Advaitam Harinadvaitat Acharyam Bhakti Samshanat Bhaktavataram Isham Tam Advaitacharyamashreye. Mataji. Advaitam Harinadvaitat Acharyam Bhakti Shamsanat Bhaktavataram Isham Tam Advaitacharyamashreye. Advaitam Harinadvaitat Acharyam Bhakti Shamsanat Bhaktavataram Isham Tam Advaitacharyamashreye. Advaitam, known as Advaita. Harina, with Lord Hari. Advaitat, from being non-different. Acharyam, known as Acharya. Bhakti Shamsanat, from the propagation of devotional service to Sri Krishna. Bhakta Avataram, the incarnation as a devotee. Isham, to the Supreme Lord. Tam to him. Advaita Acharyam to Advaita Acharya. Ashraye, I surrender. Translation. Because he is non-different from Hari, the Supreme Lord, he is called Advaita. And because he propagates the cult of devotion, he is called Acharya. He is the Lord and the incarnation of the Lord's devotee. Therefore, I take shelter of him. There is no purport, so we will start discussing. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshuronmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupak Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroh Shri Gurutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So today we will be discussing about the glories of Sri Advaita Acharya. We will be discussing from the 6th chapter of Adi Leela, even though the verse that we have discussed is from the 1st chapter of Adi Leela. But this verse is elaborated in the 6th chapter of Adi Leela. So, in the Adi Leela, 1st chapter, the first 14 verses, which are called the Mangalacharan verses, they describe the complete Siddhanta or the Tattva in very brief. And these 14 verses are expanded in the first 7 chapters of Adi Leela, which completely establishes the Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta. Who are the personalities whom we worship, what is their position, what is our Siddhanta, who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, why did he descend, who are his Parshadas, what are their position, and all of that is described in the first 7 chapters, which is first very briefly described in the first 14 verses of Adi Leela, in which the 12th and 13th verses describe Advaita Acharya. And Advaita Tattva is described in the 6th chapter. So that's what we are going to discuss today from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. We will start and see how far we can get. Okay. Vande tam Srimad Advaita Charyam Adbhuta Cheshtitam Yasya Prasadad Agnyopi Tatswarupam Nirupayet. So, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami starts this chapter by offering obeisances to Sri Advaita Acharya. He says, by whose mercy even an ignorant person can understand the position of Sri Advaita Acharya. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Pancha Shloka Kahila Shri Nityananda Tattva Shloka Dvaye Kahi Advaitacharyera Mahatva. So in the 5th chapter, I discussed the glories of Shri Nityananda Prabhu. Now in 2 shlokas, I am going to discuss the glories of Shri Advaita Acharya, he says. And then the first verse glorifying Advaita Acharya. Mahavishnuर्jagatkarta mayaya shrujatyadah tasyavatara evayam Advaitacharya Ishwarah. Mahavishnu Jagatkarta. Mahavishnu is the Jagatkarta, the creator of this universe. Mayaya srijatyadah. And he creates this universe through the agency of his Maya. Tasya avatara evayam Advaita Acharya Ishwarah. And his avatara is Advaitacharya. And then this verse. Advaitam harinadvaitad acharyam bhakti shamsanat bhaktavataram isham tam Advaitacharya mashraye. What is the meaning of the word Advaita Acharya? Why is he called as Advaita Acharya? Is he from the Advaita line or what? Are we not supposed to be the Vaishnavas? Why is he named as Advaita? Advaitam Harina Advaitat. Because of being non-different from Lord Hari, he is called as Advaita. And why is he called as Acharya? Acharyam Bhakti Shamsanat. Because he teaches Bhakti. Therefore he is called as Acharya. Bhaktavataram, in the Panchatattva, he is the Bhakta avatar. Isham, and he is the Supreme Lord himself. Tam Advaitacharya Mashre. I surrender to that, or I seek shelter of that Advaitacharya. So, first we will try to discuss this Tattva of Advaitacharya. Who is he exactly? Because oftentimes there are different understandings amongst all the Tattvas. Advaitacharya's Tattva is little confusing. Okay. So, let's see what Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says about Advaitacharya. He says, Advaita Acharya Gosai Sakshata Ishwar Yahara Mahimana He Jivera Gochar. He is Sakshat Ishwar and ordinary living entities cannot understand his glories. Mahavishnu Srishti Karen Jagata Adikarya Tara Avatara Sakshat Advaita Acharya. Mahavishnu is involved in creation of this material world and his avatara is Sakshat Advaita Acharya. Ye Purusha Srishti Sthiti Karena Mayaya Ananta Brahmanda Srishti Karena Lilaya. That Purusha Mahavishnu, he creates and maintains this material universe as his pastimes. Ichaya Ananta Murti Karena Prakash Eka Eka Murti Karen Brahmanda Pravesha. So he says, by his will he manifests millions of universes. In each of those universes, he enters in his expansion as Garbhodak Sai Vishnu. Se Purushe Ramsha Advaita Nahi Kichu Beda Sharira Visheshatara Nahi Kavicheda. Se Purusha Amsha Advaita. That Mahavishnu's Amsha is Advaita Acharya. Nahi Kichu Beda. There is no difference between them. Sharira Vishesha Tara Nahika Vicheda. Okay. It is just, Advaita Acharya is just another form of the same Mahavishnu. Sahaya Karena Taran Laya Pradhan Koti Brahmanda Karena Ichaya Nirman. So, Advaita Acharya assists Mahavishnu by being the Upadana Karan or the material cause. Just like you have pot, in order to make a pot, you need clay and you need the potter. Clay is the material cause, Upadana Karan. And the potter is the effective cause, Nimitta Karan. Advaita Acharya is said to be the Upadana Karan, that aspect of Mahavishnu. Jagata Mangala Advaita Mangala Gunadam Mangala Charitra Sadam Mangala Yaranam. So he is a reservoir of all auspicious things. His Dham is auspicious, his Naam is auspicious, everything about him is auspicious. Koti Amsha Koti Shakti Koti Avatar Eta Laya Srije Purusha Sakala Samsar. So he creates, Mahavishnu creates millions of material universes by his millions of parts, energies, etc. Then he says, Maya Eche Dui Amsha Nimita Upadan Maya Nimita Hetu Upadana Pradhan Purusha Ishvara Aiche Dvimurti Haya Visvashirshti Kare Nimita Upadana Laya. Maya Eche Dui Amsha Nimita Pradhan. The external energy has two parts. Nimitta, the efficient cause, as we saw, potter. And Upadan. Upadan is the material cause, clay. Right? So, similarly, Mahavishnu has two aspects. He assumes two forms to create the material world. For providing the efficient and material cause. Okay. So, Nimitta and Upadan. Apane Purusha Vishwera Nimitta Karan Advaita Rupe Upadana Hana Narayan. So, Mahavishnu himself is the Nimitta Karan. And through Advaita Acharya, he becomes the Upadana Karan. Upadana Karan means the material cause. Nimittam Shekarete ho mayate ikshan Upadana Advaita Karena Brahmanda Srijan. So, as Mahavishnu, he Mayara Ikshan, he glances at Prakriti to start the creation, and Upadana Advaita Karena Brahmanda Srijan. And through the form of Advaita Acharya, he awards the Upadan, the material ingredients that are needed for creation. So now, these two forms, as it is mentioned that, Purusha Ishvara Aiche Dvimurti Hayya. Mahavishnu assumes these two forms. Okay. So what are these two forms? We will try to understand these two forms. This is described in Brahma Samhita and elaborated in Laghu Bhagavatamrita. We are going to discuss this. This is an important aspect because oftentimes this will help understand some misconceptions about Advaita Acharya. Because oftentimes we hear he is a mixed incarnation of Mahavishnu and Sadashiva. Like that. So is that exactly correct, or is that a misconception, or where that misconception comes from? We will try to touch that little bit. Okay. So, Brahma Samhita, in Brahma Samhita, this whole creation pastime in the early, oftentimes we know Brahma Samhita through the prayers, but prior to that, in that very same chapter, there is a description of the creation process also. So there, that Mahavishnu glancing at Prakriti, that pastime is described, how that happens. Okay. Niyati sa Ramadevi tatpriya tadvasham sada tada tadlingam Bhagavan Shambhuhu Jyotirupa Sanatanaha Ya Yonihi Sapara Shaktihi Kamo Bijam Mahadharehe. This verse says. Oftentimes we hear that the glance of Mahavishnu is Shiva, or the glancer is Shiva, and all those things. So, is that correct or not? These verses and explanations elaborate on that. It's important to understand, because this understanding is important in our understanding who exactly is Sri Advaita Acharya. Okay. Because, we have a course which is called as Sri Krishna Smarana Spurti, where we memorize various ashtakams. So we actually do, compose music, and, someone sings and it's recorded professionally and it's shared with devotees and all that. So when someone is composing the music for Advaita Ashtakam, they decided to put a damru in it. Why damru? Because Advaita Acharya is partial incarnation of Mahavishnu and Sadashiva. So we should put a damru instead of a tabla or a mridanga, they decided. Okay. So, anyways, so this is an often understood, misunderstood, we will try to see that. Okay. Because even in this verse, so the source of that conception comes from Brahma Samhita actually. Okay. So who is that glancer? Is that glancer Shiva or Vishnu? Who? Or is that glance Shiva? Like that. So he says, Niyati sa Ramadevi tatpriya tadvasham tada tad lingam Bhagavan Shambhuhu Jyoti Rupa Sanatanaha Ya Yoni Sapara Shakti Kamo Bijam Mahadharehe. You see here in this verse the word lingam is there, Shambhu is there. when it is talking about the glancing pastime. Okay. So he says, Rama is Mother Lakshmi generally. Niyatihi, under the control of the Lord, is self-manifesting and dear to the Lord. Tat Priya. Bhagavan Shambhu, the Lord's eternal form, Shambhu, Jyoti Rupaha, whose body is consciousness, Tad Lingam, is represented figuratively by the Lingam, Ya Aparashakti Yonihi, and an inferior portion of Rama Devi, Mother Lakshmi, is the Yoni. Sa Kamaha, he desires to glance at Prakriti. Who? Shambhu. Okay. For creating universes. Okay. And then from that Mahat Tattva manifests. Like that it is mentioned. So Shambhu glances, it mentions. So now, therefore it is mentioned that, oh, it is Lord Shiva, or the glance is Shiva, like that. So now, this misunderstanding is possible. Therefore, Jiva Goswami in his commentary, he says, in some places, Shiva and Shakti are considered the cause of this world. Okay. This blessing. So this, sometimes the scriptures, they are described in such a figurative way. This verse describes Vishnu. Which verse? This verse. So he says, according to the statement of the Vishnu Puran, the portion for producing the material world is called as Shambhu. And this Shambhu is another name of Vishnu. This is not Lord Shiva. Okay. Shambhu is another name of Vishnu. And why the word Linga is used then? He says, Linga means representative. Because this Shambhu Mahavishnu is a representative of Krishna, the word Linga is used. Because the 5th chapter of Brahma Samhita talks about Krishna primarily, the word Linga indicates that this Mahavishnu, who is also called as Shambhu, is a representative of Krishna. This has nothing to do with Shiva Linga. Okay. So here Srila Jiva Goswami very clearly says, it should be understood that this form of Shambhu is different from the Shiva described in Kshiram Yata Dadivikara Vishesha Yogat Sanjayate Nahitata Pratagasti Hetoho. That Shiva and this Shambhu are totally different. They are not same. This Shambhu is Mahavishnu. Okay. Okay. And then there is the glancing and how that happens is described. Shambhu desires to see Shakti in order that the creation takes place. This combination of Shambhu and Shakti gives rise to Mahat Tattva. Okay. So then, in the 2 verses later, he explains who is this Shambhu. Again, little bit more clarity. Shaktiman Purushaha Soyam Lingarupi Maheshwaraha Tasmin Avirabhut Linge Mahavishnur Jagatpatihi. It says. So, this verse also talks about these 2 forms of Mahavishnu. Okay. Saha Ayam Shaktiman Purushaha. This powerful Purushaha, Lingarupi. Why is he called as Lingarupi? Linga means indistinct form. When the Lord is glancing at the Prakriti, through the glance he is impregnating the Prakriti with the Jivas. So when all the Jivas, conscious Jivas are coming out of his body, it looks so effulgent that it looks indistinct. None of the features, the eyes, nose, ears, tongue, etc., none of those features of the Supreme Lord is visible. It becomes an indistinct form when he is glancing. That form is called as Linga Rupa. But that is the form of, that indistinct form is also called as Shambhu, but that is not Lord Shiva. That is one form of Mahavishnu only. Okay. Then, after that glancing, then he retains his original form. His form looks visible because, it's just like if from a small, place, if it at dark night when lot of, those fireflies are coming out. pitch dark. Fireflies are coming out. You know, you will see only light there. You will not see any other distinct features, right? Like that. So that form is called as the Shambhu form. Okay. So again, Srila Jiva Goswami mentions, the scriptures dedicated to Shiva describe this operation as independent of Vishnu out of ignorance of the full details. The present verse continues the previous description with the understanding that only Vishnu performs this task. Okay. The problem comes because of the usage of the word Shambhu. Okay. So, having assumed a subtle form, the subtle form is called as Linga Rupa. Shambhu then appeared with a distinct form. When the glancing is done, then he assumed a distinct form where you could identify his eyes, ears, etc. That form is Mahavishnu only. Okay. Now, Laghu Bhagavatamrita further describes on the same aspect. Okay. Describing that how this Shambhu form is also called as Sadashiva. But it is Mahavishnu only. Okay. Sometimes called as Mahavishnu, sometimes called as Sadashiva. That's all. Okay. Sadashivakya tanmurtis tamogandha vivarjita sarvakarana bhutasav anga bhuta swayam prabhoho vayavyadishu saiveyam shivaloke pradarshita. So he says that this form called Sadashiva is directly Narayana. It is a Vilas form of Swayam Rupa Krishna. Okay. Okay. This form is described as dwelling in Shivaloka, which is described as Vaikunta. This is not Kailash. This is Vaikunta. Okay. So, he says that, and then he quotes a verse from the Kaivalya Upanishad. Okay. He quotes a verse from the Kaivalya Upanishad where it is mentioned that the person who glances is called as Nilakanta, Trinetra, okay, and his wife is called as Uma. Okay. So this confuses even more. So who is glancing? Who is Trinetra? Lord Shiva. Who is Nilakanta? Lord Shiva. Whose wife is Uma? Lord Shiva. So Srila Jiva Goswami explains that Trinetra or Trilochana refers to Mahavishnu because he can see past, present and future. And he is called as Nilakanta because he wears the Kaustuva mani on his neck. And Uma here refers to one of his consort whose name is Kirti. That's the explanation. Okay. So this Sadashiva is actually Mahavishnu. And then he says, Tatacha Brahma Samhitayam Adi Shiva Katane. He says, for the proof, he says, I will quote from Brahma Samhita, talking about this Sadashiva who is Mahavishnu, and he quotes the same verse which we saw. Okay, the same verse from Brahma Samhita that we saw. That's the same verse. Okay. So he says, Bhagavan Shambhu is the expansion of Swayam Rupa Krishna. He is the Lord of Vaikuntha endowed with 6 powers. Okay. And then why is he called Shambhu? He says, he is called Shambhu because he is the creator of the good fortune for the Jivas. He is Mahavishnu only, he says. Anyways, so coming back to the 6th chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita, further he describes about Advaita Acharya. Yadyapi Sankhya pradana karan jada haite kabuna he jagata srijan. The Sankhya philosophy says that the pradhan is the cause of this universe, but pradhan being jada vastu, it cannot create the universe. So that happens through Mahavishnu. Advaita rupe kare shakti sancharan atayeva advaita hayan mukhya karan. So through the form of Advaita, he infuses the material ingredients with creative energy. Therefore, Advaita is the original cause of creation. Okay, like that. Advaita Acharya Koti Brahmandera Karta Araye Kam Mukhya Murtiya Brahmandera Bharta. So therefore, Sri Advaita Acharya is the creator of millions and millions of universes, and by his expansions, such as Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, he maintains each universe. Okay. And Advaita Acharya, he says, Sei Narayanera Mukhya Anga Advaita, Anga Shabde Amshakari Kahe Bhagavata. He says that this Advaita is a very important Anga of Amsha or Anga of Lord Narayana. Bhagavata addresses him as Anga. Brahmaji says, Narayanastvam nahi sarvadehinam atma syadisha kilaloka sakshi Narayanongam narabu jalayana tachapi satyam na tavaiva maya. So he addresses Narayana as Narayanaha Angam. So here Narayana refers to the Purusha avatars, including Advaita Acharya. Angam. So instead of Amsha, the word Anga is used. Why? He says, Amsha haite Anga yate haya antaranga. Because the word Anga indicates more intimacy rather than just to say Amsha. Okay. So therefore, Mahavishnur Amsha Advaita Gunadam Ishware Abhedatei Advaita Purnanam. Sri Advaita Acharya is the reservoir of all the virtues. He is the main Anga, limb of Mahavishnu. He is called as Advaita because Harina Advaita, because he is non-different from Lord Hari. So in this way, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami establishes the Advaita Tattva. Who is this Advaita Tattva? Advaitam Harina Advaitat. He is non-different from Lord Hari, therefore. Now, coming to the next, Acharyam Bhakti Shamsanat. Why is he called as Acharya? Because he teaches Bhakti. Purveye che kaila sarva vishvera srijan avatari kailaye be bhakti pravartan. So just as he had created the universe before, now he descended to introduce the path of Bhakti. Dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Right? So that dharma is Bhakti. जीवन निस्तारीला कृष्ण भक्ति करे दान गीता भागवते कैला भक्ति व्याख्यान. He delivered all the living entities by giving them the gift of bhakti. And how? By explaining the path of bhakti through Gita and Bhagavat. Bhakti upadeshe vinotara nahi karya ata eva nama haila Advaita Acharya. He has no other job other than teaching bhakti. Therefore he is called as Advaita Acharya. Vaishnavera Guru Teho Jagatera Arya Dui Nama Milane Haila Advaita Acharya. Vaishnavera Guru Teho Jagatera Arya. Being the Guru of all the Vaishnavas, he is the most revered personality in this whole world. And you take Advaita and Acharya, that gives the name Advaita Acharya. He is also called as Kamalaksha because he is a limb of the Supreme Lord, who is also Kamala Nayana or Kamalaksha. Okay. So, and Yahara tulasi jale yahara hunkare swagana sahite chaitanyera avatare. So, the third chapter of the Adi Leela describes the external reasons for the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Advaita Acharya plays a very important role in actually calling Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to descend and perform his pastimes. Yaradwara Kaila Prabhu Kirtana Prachar, Yaradwara Kaila Prabhu Jagata Nistar. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, through Advaita Acharya, he spread the Sankirtan movement, and through him he delivered the world. So we will discuss from the third chapter little bit about Advaita Acharya's, how he brought Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to this world. Acharya Gosai Prabhur Bhakta Avatar Krishna Avatara Hetu Yahara Hunkar. So he is Bhakta Avataram. He is Bhakta Avatar. And because of his loud calling, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. Krishna yadi prithvi te karena avatar pratame karena guru vargena sanchar. Whenever Krishna had to descend to this world, first he would manifest his incarnations and other predecessors. Pita mata guru adi yata manya gana pratame karena sabar prithvi te janama. So before he would manifest his Pita, Mata, Guru and all of them. Madhava, Ishvara, Puri, Shachi, Jagannath, Advaita, Acharya, Prakata, Haila, Sei, Sat. And Madhavendra Puri, Ishvara Puri, Sachi Mata, Jagannath Mishra and all of them, along with them, Advaita Acharya also manifested. Prakatiya deke Acharya Sakala Samsar, Krishna Bhakti Gandhahina, Vishaya Vyavahar. When he manifested in this world, he saw that there is not even little bit of bhakti in this whole world. Everyone is so absorbed in material interactions. Keha pape keha punye kare vishaya bhog, bhakti gandha nahi yate yaya bhavarog. Someone is engaged in papa, someone is engaged in punya, and ultimately everyone is engaged in sense gratification. There is not even a tinge of bhakti, and this is, Yaya Bhavarog, and no one was interested in bhakti, which can actually deliver one from material world. Lokagati deki acharya karuna hriday, vichara karena loke kaiche hita hai. So seeing this, he became very compassionate and he thought, how could these people be delivered? Apani Sri Krishna yadi karena avatar, apane achari bhakti karena prachar. This is possible only if Krishna himself descends and through his own activities he preaches bhakti. Nama venu kali kale dharma nahi yar, kali kale kaiche habe Krishna avatar. In this Kali Yuga, there is no other solution than Harinam. Okay? But how in this age will the Lord appear as an incarnation? Shuddha bhave karibe Krishnera aradhana nirantaras sadainye kariba nivedan. So he says, Shuddha bhave kariba Krishnera aradhan. With a pure heart, I will try to worship Krishna. Nirantara sadainye karibe nivedan. With all humility at my disposal, I will pray to Krishna to descend. Aniya Krishnere karun kirtana sanchar, tabe se Advaita nama safala amar. Aniya Krishnere karun kirtana sanchar. I will get Krishna to descend and start this Sankirtan movement. Only then my name of Advaita shall become fit. Krishna vasha karibena kona aradhane vicharite eka shloka aila taramane. But what is the best way to worship Krishna? When he was thinking like this, he remembered a verse from the Gautamiya Tantra, I guess. Tulasi dala matrena jalasya chulukena va vikrinite swamatmanam bhaktebhyo bhaktavatsalaha. Tulasi dala matrena jalasya chulukena va. With little Ganga water and little Tulsi leaves, if one worships Krishna, Vikrinite swamatmanam, Krishna is willing to sell himself to that person. Bhaktebhyo bhaktavatsalaha, because he is so affectionate to his devotees. Such a simple way. Yei shlokartha acharya karena vicharana, Krishna ke tulasi jala deyei jana, tara rina shodite Krishna karena chintana, jala tulasi rasama kichu ghare nahi dana. So Advaita Acharya meditated on the meaning of this verse, and he thought that if I worship Krishna with Ganga Jal and Tulsi, he will feel so indebted. And he will think that there is no wealth by which I can repay him. So I will myself descend. Tabe atma vechi kare rinera shodhan etabhavi acharya karena aradhan. So considering in this way, Advaita Acharya was worshipping Krishna. Ganga jala tulasi manjari anukshana Krishna pada padma bhavi kare samarpana. So thinking of this, he would offer tulsi leaves and Ganga jal to the lotus feet of the Lord. Krishnera ahvana kare kariya hunkar emate Krishnera kara ila avatar. So he appealed to Sri Krishna with loud calls and thus made it possible for Krishna to appear. Chaitanyera avatare ei mukhya hetu bhaktera ichaya avatara dharma setu. So this is one of the main reasons for the appearance of the Supreme Lord in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the Lord always descends bhaktera ichaya avatare dharma setu. So to protect the religion, he comes out of the desire of the devotee. This is what Bhagavatam says. Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavita hrit saroja asya shrutekshita pato nanunata pumsam yadyad diyata urugaya vibhavayanti tattadvapu pranayase sadanugrahaya. Sadanugrahaya. Yadyad diyata urugaya vibhavayanti. In whatever mood aspiring for worshipping whatever form of the Lord, the devotee worships the Lord manifests that form. Okay. Yei shlokera artakahi sankshepera sar bhaktera ichaya krishnera sarva avatar. Okay. So the essential meaning of this verse is that the Lord appears in whatever form purely because of the desire of his pure devotee. And for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu it is the desire of Sri Advaita Acharya. So these there are four, Srila Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya has composed an ashtakam called as Sri Advaita Ashtakam. Where in 8 verses he glorifies Sri Advaita Acharya, in which in the first 4 verses he glorifies Sri Advaita Acharya, expresses his gratitude to Sri Advaita Acharya for being the cause of manifestation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this world. So let us also express our gratitude to Sri Advaita Acharya for this purpose. We will quickly go through these first four paragraphs of Sri Advaita Ashtakam, where he explains this. So he says, Huhunkara garjanadi ahoratra sadgunam ha Krishna radhika nata prarthanadi bhavanam dopadeepa kasturi cha chandanadi lepanam sita nata dvaita charanaravinda bhavanam. So he says, Huhunkara garjanadi ahoratra sadgunam. So he was roaring literally out of his eagerness to manifest Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Garjanadi, thundering like a monsoon cloud. Ahoratra, prarthanadi bhavanam. Day and night he would be praying. What he would be praying? Ha Krishna Radhika Nata. So he would be calling out for Krishna, the Lord of Srimati Radhika. Dhupa Deepa Kasturi cha Chandanadi Lepanam, and he would apply Chandan, Kasturi and other things to Shaligram Shila and offer Dhupa Deepa and worship the Supreme Lord. Sita Natat Advaita Charanaravinda Bhavanam. I meditate upon the lotus feet of Sri Advaita Acharya, who is the Lord of Sita Devi. And then he says, Gangavari Manohari Tulasyadi Manjari Krishna Jnana Sada Dhyana Premavari Jarjari Kripabdi Karunanata Bhavishyati Prarthanam Sita Nata Dvaita Charanaravinda Bhavanam. So he says, Gangavari Manohari Tulasyadi Manjari. So he worships the Shaligram Shila with Gangavari, the Ganga water, Tulasyadi Manjari, Tulasi Manjari, while Krishna Jnana Sada Dhyana, while constantly meditating on the glories of Krishna, Prema Vari Jarjari, and his eyes are constantly pouring waters of Prema. Kripabdi Karunanata Bhavishyati Prarthanam. Oh my dear Lord, so there is external worship, Gangavari, Manohari, Tulasyadi, Manjari. There is meditation on Krishna Jnana Sada Dhyana. And there is external manifestation of that, Premavari Jarjari. The Sattvika Bhavas are manifesting in the form of tears flowing from the eyes. And there is a prayer, my dear Lord, please manifest. We want you here now. Okay. मुहुर्मुहुः कृष्ण कृष्ण उच्चैस्वरे गायतम् अहेनाथ जगत्रात मम दृष्टिगोचरम् द्विभुज करुणानाथ दीयतां सुदर्शनम् सीतानाथ द्वैत चरणारविंद भावनम्. So he says, Muhur Muhuhu Krishna Krishna Uchaisware Gayatam. Again and again he would loudly chant the name of Krishna, Krishna. Huh? What would be his prayer? Ahe Nata Jagatrata Mama Drishti Gocharam. My dear Lord, you are the deliverer of this universe. Please manifest to my vision. In what form? Dvibhuja Karunanatha. In the merciful two-handed form, please manifest. Diyatam Sudarshanam, and please give me the vision to see that form. In your two-handed form, please manifest. Shri Advaita Prarthanartha Jagannatha Alayam Shachi Matur Garbhajata Chaitanya Karunamayam Shri Advaita Sangaranga Kirtana Vilasanam Sita Nata Dvaita Charanaravinda Bhavanam. Shri Advaita Prarthanartha Chaitanya Karunamayam. Only due to the merciful prayers of Shri Advaita Acharya, Shachi Matur Garbhajata Chaitanya Karunamayam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took birth in the womb of Shachi Mata, Jagannatha Alayam, in the house of Jagannath Mishra. Shri Advaita Sangaranga Kirtana Vilasanam. And in order to enjoy the association of Shri Advaita Acharya, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifested the whole Kirtan pastimes. This is what Srila Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya says. One of the main reasons why Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started the Sankirtan movement, one of the reasons is he wanted to enjoy the association of Shri Advaita Acharya. Like that. So now, Acharyam Bhakti Shamsanat. He is called as Acharya because he teaches Bhakti. So what does it mean by teaching Bhakti? One is teaching the Bhakti Shastras, Gita Bhagavat. Another is teaching what is the essence of Bhakti. The essence of Bhakti is Das Abhiman. Bhaja iti eshavai dhatu sevayam parikirtitah tasmat seva budai prokta bhakti shabdena bhuyasi. Garuda Puran states this verse that the bhaja dhatu, by the root word bhaja, which is the root of the word bhakti, sevayam parikirtitah, it indicates service. Tasmat seva budai prokta bhakti shabdena bhuyasi. Therefore, intelligent people say that the word bhakti indicates service. So therefore, when Prabhupada says bhakti means, when he translated it as devotional service, it is very scientific because that is what the root word of bhakti indicates. Bhaja iti eshavai dhatu sevayam parikirtitah. And seva means the mode of service. The mode which drives seva is that dasa bhiman. The mode of being the das. Okay. So, Acharya Gosaira Guna Mahima Apar Jiva Kita Kotai Paibeka Tarapar. The glory and attributes of Advaita Acharya are unlimited. How can the insignificant living entities fathom them? Okay. So, then he says, माधवेंद्र पुरी रही हों शिष्य ये ज्ञाने आचार्य गोसाईरा प्रभु गुरु करी माने. So Advaita Acharya was thinking that, oh, he is a disciple of Madhavendra Puri, and Madhavendra Puri is my Param Guru. So if he is Madhavendra Puri's disciple, he is my Guru. He is on the level of my Guru because he is a god brother of my Guru Ishwara Puri. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would give lot of respect to Shri Advaita Acharya. Laukika Leela Te Dharma Maryada Rakshan Stuti Bhakti Karentara Charana Vandan. So to maintain the proper etiquettes Lord Chaitanya would always bow down to Sri Advaita Acharya with reverential prayers and devotion. चैतन्य गोसाई के आचार्य करे प्रभुर ज्ञान आपा ना के करें तारा दासा अभिमान. But she Advaita Acharya actually considered Mahaprabhu as his master and himself as the servant of Lord of Mahaprabhu. Sei abhimana suke apa napa sare Krishna dasa hao jiva upadesha kare. So when he thinks in this way, he becomes so joyful that he forgets his position and he starts preaching to all the living entities that you all are servants of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna dasa abhimane ye ananda sindhu koti brahma sukena he tara eka bindu. The joy of being a servant of Krishna is so joyful, it's like an ocean, and the Brahma Sukha, the joy of impersonal liberation, cannot compare to even one drop of that ocean. Muiye Chaitanya Dasa Ara Nityananda Dasa Bhava Samana He Anyatra Ananda. I am one Chaitanya Das and there is another Chaitanya Das, this is Nityananda Prabhu. And there is nothing equal to this Dasa Bhav. There is no joy greater than this Dasa Bhav. And then he gives various examples of Mother Lakshmi, Nanda Maharaj, they had such intimate association with the Lord, still they considered themselves as Kinkara. Okay. There is Nityananda Prabhu, there are all associates. I am just going fast because time is less. Okay. And then he says, the glories of this Dasa Bhiman. Okay. The rest of the chapter he discusses this. Even friends who would sometimes just jump into the shoulders of Krishna, like Sridama and others, Pada Samvahanam Chakruhu, Kechit Tasya Mahatmanah, Apare Hatapapmano, Vyajanaihi Samavijayan. Some of them would press his feet, some of them would do Vyajan Seva, even though at other times they would jump on his shoulders. So this Dasa Bhiman is actually very foundational. Okay, like that he discusses Srimati Radharani, the gopis, the queens of Dwaraka, how their Dasa Bhiman and all of that he discusses. Okay. Anyways, so now this Dasa Bhiman of, before I continue, just a short disclaimer. So today, being a festival day and fasting till noon, I took permission to little bit go over time. I am just mentioning before, so that devotees are not offended. So, this Dasa Bhiman is common in all the sampradayas. But this Dasa Bhiman is not there in Mayavad, because one extreme Dasa Bhiman where there is Ekam Brahma Dvitiya Nasti, Neha Nanasti Kinchana, there is nothing, only Brahman, so there is no question of Dasya. The other sampradayas say, no, the Jiva is different from Ishvara, there has to be Dasya Bhav, the Jiva should have Dasya Bhav towards Ishvara. Till this, the other sampradayas, Vaishnava sampradayas. But this is taken to a whole different degree in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. There is not Dasabhiman of the other ordinary Jivatmas. The Ishvara Tattvas have Dasabhiman towards the Amshi, Krishna. This Dasabhiman is emphasized. And to the extent that there are literatures which establish this very clearly. So how do you establish Dasabhiman? When you establish Taratamya. When you establish a clear-cut difference that someone is greater, someone is less, so the one who is inferior has to have a Dasa Bhiman towards someone who is greater. So, in the Laghu Bhagavatamrita, there is a deep discussion. I will just summarize this. This comes in the 5th chapter of the first volume of Laghu Bhagavatamrita, in which Srila Rupa Goswami talks about the Paravastha forms. Paravastha means those forms, those avatars which have extraordinary powers. There are 3 forms. Rama, Krishna and Narasimha. 3 forms. So now, he says there are many characteristics which describe if there is a difference. So the first characteristics he says is the ability to give prema. Okay, so he says, he quotes this verse from Bilomangal Thakur's Krishna Karanamrita. Santu avatara bahavaha pushkaranabhasya sarvato badraha krishnad anyaha kova latasu api premato bhaved. Premado bhaved, he says. Yes, there may be many avataras, but is there any avatara who is capable of giving prema even to the trees and creepers? This is the question of Bilomangal Thakur. Yes, other avatars came. They gave prema to the human devotees. But how many avatars have given prema even to trees and creepers? And he says, someone may argue, oh, in Ramayana it is mentioned that when Lord Ramachandra was leaving Ayodhya, the trees and creepers were crying. So Srila Baldev Bhushan, in commenting on this, he says, yes, but that happened once when Lord Ramachandra was abandoned for a very long time from Ayodhya. But this is an everyday happening in Vrindavan. Every day the trees and creepers, they, like Vanalatas Tarava Atmani Vishnum Vyanjayantya Iva Pushpa Faladyaha Pranata Bara Vitapa Madhu Dharaha Prema Hrishta Tanavo Vavruchuhusma. They give up honey and sap in the form of, tears in the form of honey and sap, and their hair stand on end in the form of sprouts and all that. Okay. So, this is one. So, no other form inspires this degree of prema, and prema even to such species such as trees and creepers. So, this establishes Krishna as Amshi and all the others as Amsha. Okay, this is one. Second is Hatari Gatidayakatvam. Okay. Whenever a form of the Lord kills a demon, they give a better position. Okay. But when all the other incarnations kill demons, they give a better material position. But when Krishna kills, he gives liberation. Okay. So, this is established by quoting a conversation between Maitreya Muni and Parashara Muni from Vishnu Puran. So Srila Rupa Goswami quotes this conversation in Laghu Bhagavatamrita. So once this conversation was happening, Maitreya Muni asked Parashara Muni that why is it that Hiranyakashipu, Ravana and Shishupal were the same jiva, killed by the same personality Lord Hari in the form of Narasimha, Rama and Krishna. Why is it that only Shishupal attained liberation, whereas Hiranyakashipu and Ravana did not get liberation? So one may say, simple, because that was the curse, right? 3 times, 3 births. So after 3 births, he has to get liberated. But interestingly, Maitreya Muni does not give this explanation. He says, when Hiranyakashipu was killed by Narasimhadev, because Narasimhadev did not manifest extraordinary qualities, therefore Hiranyakashipu could not clearly see Narasimhadev as the Supreme Lord. Okay? And because he could not see him as Supreme Lord, therefore his hatred did not have very strong absorption. Because there was insufficient absorption, he did not get liberation. And the same is true with Ravana. Okay. So, but because he was killed by Narsingadev and Lord Ramachandra, they attained enjoyment which is rare even for the Devatas, extraordinary material enjoyment. Okay. So, the Vedanta Sutra says that if one sees the Lord as a human being and is killed by the Lord, they attain heavenly pleasures. They don't attain liberation. Liberation is attained only if one sees him as the Lord and when he is killed. But in the case of Shishupal, because of the attractiveness of the name and form of Krishna, it is mentioned that he saw Krishna as the Lord. So this seeing Krishna as the Lord created the requisite absorption in his heart, even though it was in the mood of hatred. So therefore that created liberation. Okay. Kamad dveshad bayat snehat yata bhakteshware manah avesha tadagam hitva bahavas tadgatim gataha, as Bhagavatam says, 7th canto. Okay. So, now, Srila Rupa Goswami says, he addresses the why didn't Parashar Muni say that that was the curse? So he says, Noktam Parasarantena Parasarena Atra Stitau Tau Parshadaviti Kintu Ubayos Tayorasi Janmatrayam iti iritam. In the Vishnu Puran, Parashar does not mention that Jaya and Vijaya were associates of the Lord from Vaikunta, but simply took 3 births to attain the Lord. Ataha Sarveshu Kalpeshu na tau Parshadajau matau Anyata na tayoho pataha pratikalpam samanjasaha. He says that, therefore, it should be understood that, see, Rama, Narasimha and Krishna are all Kalpavataras. Every day of Brahma they appear once. Okay? It's not that every time they appear, Jaya and Vijaya fall down. It is a very occasional occurrence. At other times, it is only ordinary demons who take the form of Hiranyakashipu, Ravana and Shishupal. Even in such cases, Hiranyakashipu and Ravana do not get liberated. Only Shishupal gets liberated. Of course, in this one case, it's an extraordinary case of Jaya and Vijaya. So he says that, I will just read the important part of the purport. Thus, he does not consider that in every kalpa, Jaya and Vijaya become demon in the material world. It would not be proper to say that being eternal associates of the Lord, they fall in every kalpa from Vaikunta. It would not be appropriate. In every kalpa they fall down to become Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, Ravana, Kumbhakarna and Shishupal and Dantavakra. So, therefore he says, if one accepts that the Kalpavataras appear in every kalpa and fight with Jaya and Vijaya, who fall from Vaikunta to perform fighting pastimes, this would contradict the Lord's statements of affection for his devotees. Why would he make them, once they wanted to assist the Lord in his Viryaras pastimes, so he will take that and then make them fall every time? So he says, the Acharyas don't accept. No. Once in a while they come to assist, but at other times it is the ordinary demons only. Okay. Thus, in every kalpa, the Lord performs fighting pastimes with real demons. Their falling into the material world from Vaikunta by the Lord's will alone is an occasional occurrence. This is what the Acharyas explain. This does not happen every time. So, this is the second case of Hatari Gatidayakatvam. All the, whether it is Hiranyakashipu or in Ramayana, all Tataka, Maricha, Subahu, whoever was killed by Lord Ramachandra, it's understood that they did not attain liberation, but they got a better material birth. Okay. Second reason for this, Taratamya. The third reason he says is, Krishna is the source of all the names. Lord Narayana is Krishna. Krishna can also be called as Narayana. Krishna can also be called as Vamana. Krishna can also be called as Kurma, Matsya, everything. He is the source of all the names. So, but sometimes when Krishna is called by these names, there are 2 types of names which when addressing Krishna, he says, Hetu Samya Prayog and Hetu Beda Prayog. Okay. Sometimes Krishna and the other incarnations are addressed with the same name for the same reason. Krishna is called as Pundarikaksha because his eyes are as beautiful as lotus petals. The other forms of the Lord are also called as Pundarikaksha because they also have eyes which are as beautiful as lotus petals. Okay. But there are some names which are used in Hetu Beda Prayog for 2 different reasons. For example, Krishna is called, the other forms of the Lord are called as Keshava for 2 reasons. One is they have a beautiful hair, therefore they are called as Keshava. And another reason is they control Brahma and Shiva. Kaha, Isha, Vayase. Kaha is Brahma, Isha is Lord Shiva, Vayase is control. And another reason, but when Krishna is called as Keshava, he is called because he kills the Keshi demon. So this is Hetu Beda Prayog. Okay. Krishna is, the other forms of the Lord are called as Adokshaja because they are transcendental to the material senses. Krishna is called as Adokshaja for another reason. Adaha means below. Aksha means the axle of a cart is called as an Aksha. Ja means to take birth. Adaha Aksha Ja means one who takes birth below the axle of a cart. So this refers to the Putana pastime. After Putana was killed, Krishna was lying below an axle of a cart. So it looked like as if he took his second birth below the axle of a cart. Therefore he was called as Adokshaja. Adaha Aksha Ja. He took birth. So like that, he says that practically all the names of all the forms of the Lord and demigods, actually the source of all those names is Krishna. Therefore he is Amshi. Rest are all Amshas. Okay. Then he quotes proofs from the Agama Shastras and Tantra Shastras. Where, when the 14-syllable mantra glorifying Krishna is worshipped, the other forms of Rama, Narasimha, etc., they are worshipped as Avarana deities. Avarana deities are secondary deities, assistants. Okay. Whereas Krishna is worshipped as the main deity. So like this, these kind of proofs are presented by the Acharyas to establish that there is clear Taratamya. There is Amshi and there is Amsha. There is a difference. Not that the other Sampradayas do not accept it, but they don't emphasize it so much because they are establishing the importance of Dasatva of the Jivatmas. But here, our Acharyas want to establish the Dasatva of the Amshas also, the Swamshas also, not just the Vibhinna Amshas. Okay. So, Srila Rupa Goswami in Brihad Laghu Bhagavatamrita, he says, Amshatvam nama shaktinam sada alpamsha prakashita. Purnatvam cha swachayaiva nana shakti prakashita. Amsha means manifesting at all times alpamsha shaktinam, only a small portion of the powers of the Lord. Purna means manifesting many of the powers by the Lord's free will. So, Srila Baladev Devabhushan explaining this, he says, Krishna, when taking the forms of Narayana and other forms, he will display only those qualities which have been described in relation to those forms in the scriptures, not more. Okay, he will not display all the qualities of Krishna. Thus, the forms such as Narasimha do not display the qualities of giving liberation to the demons and all attractiveness as displayed by Krishna. Only some qualities are displayed. Okay. Like that, and then he gives various proofs that otherwise why would, Mother Lakshmi, who is attached to, who has a position in the chest of Lord Narayana, why did she desire the dust of Krishna's feet? Like that, those many examples are given. Anyways, so now, coming to the Das Abhiman of Advaita Acharya, we will quickly end with this quick episode of Advaita Acharya. I will not go over the verses, I will just present. So Advaita Acharya was very despondent and feeling bad that why is it that, even though he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he is giving me so much respect. So he became very displeased. So this thief constantly harasses me by giving up his superior position and grabbing hold of my lotus feet. But what can I do? I am an old man. I don't have much power. I cannot push him away also. He is a young man. So he says, but I have one power by which I can control him. What is that power? He says, Bhakti Bala. I have the power of Bhakti by which I can bring him under control. Okay. So he says, I will bring him under control by my Bhakti Bala. Like that, and I will cut his illusion into pieces. Like that, he decides. Okay. Then, one time, then thinking in this way, what did Advaita Acharya do? He said, he started preaching Mayavad. He started preaching Jnana. Jnana vina kiba shakti dare Vishnu bhakti atayeva sabara prana jnana sarva shakti. Jnana vina kiba shakti dare Vishnu bhakti. How can Vishnu bhakti be maintained without jnana? Atayeva sabara prana jnana sarva shakti. Therefore, the very essence and life of every practice is jnana. Like that he was preaching. Hena jnana na bujiya kona kona jan gare dana haraiya chahe giya vana. One who does not accept jnana and performs bhakti is like a person who keeps wealth at home and searches for it in the forest. Like that, so many verses, he is preaching jnana. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes to know of it, he becomes extremely angry. The purpose for which Advaita Acharya is doing is, I will make him angry so that he will forget his subservience, his mood of subservience to me, and he will beat me up with his own hands. Then it is appropriate that the dasa gets punished by the master. So then our eternal position as das and master will be eternally, fixed like that. So, Mahaprabhu Vishwambara kare hunkar, mui sei bale bara bar. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu roared loudly and repeatedly explained, I am he. This nada, Advaita Acharya is also called as nada. He disturbed my sleep and he brought me here to preach bhakti. And now that same personality is covering bhakti and preaching jnana. Okay. So, now today I will punish him and let's see how he defends this jnana. So he roared like this, and their mode of coming to Shantipur was through the Ganga waterways, and not through a boat, but they were just floating downstream. Ganga was flowing downstream. They were just floating. Nityananda Prabhu and Mahaprabhu were just floating and coming to, Shantipur. So they came, and as soon as, his eyes were red with anger, everyone was offering obeisances. And but as soon as Advaita Acharya saw Mahaprabhu, his eyes red with anger, he became ecstatic. Jnana yoga vakane adhika matta hayya. He became very much more enthusiastically, he started preaching jnana. Chaitanya bhaktera ke bujite pare leela, Ganga pate dui Prabhu asiya milila. So, who can understand the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya's devotees? So, but seeing this Advaita Grihini, the wife of Advaita Acharya, Sita Thakurani, she became completely, scared. And, everyone became scared. Haridas Thakur became scared. And everyone was offering obeisances. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started shouting, Krodhamu ke bale Prabhu, are nada, bala de ki jnana bhakti duite ke bada. Oh nada, now you tell me, between jnana and bhakti which is great? You tell me. Advaita bala ye sarva kala bada jnana, yara nahi jnana tare bhakti te ki kam. So he says, of course jnana is superior. What is the use of devotional service without jnana? Jnana bada advaitera shuniya vachan, krode bahye pasarila sachiranandan. So when he heard this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became so angry that he forgot his position. Pida haite advaitere dhariye aniya, swahaste kilaye Prabhu uthane padiya. He caught hold of Advaita Acharya, dragged him to the courtyard and he began beating him up, with his own hands. Advaita grihini pativrata jaganmata sarvatattva janiya o karaye vyagrata. Even though Sita Thakurani was omniscient, she was pativrata, jaganmata, she tried to restrain the Lord. She said, Bodha vipra raka pran, kahara shikshaya eta kara apaman. He's an old man, old brahmana. Whom are you trying to teach by punishing him like this? Eta bodava manera ara ki kariba, kona kichu haile eda ite na pariba. If something happens to him, you are responsible. Like that, she started threatening him. Pativrata vakya shoni nityananda hase, bhaye Krishna smarana ye prabhu haridase. And hearing this chastisement of Nityananda Prabhu, Sita Thakurani, Nityananda Prabhu started laughing. And but Haridas Thakur became fearful. He started remembering Krishna. Krode Prabhu Prativrata Vakya Nahi Shune Tarje Garje Advaitera Sadamba Vachane. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could not hear only what Sita Thakurani was speaking. Tarje Garje, he roared and threatened Advaita with proud words. He said, Shutiya achilung kshira sagarera majhe arenada nidra bhanga moratora kaje. I was peacefully sleeping in the milk ocean. Why did you have to disturb me and bring me here? Huh? Huh? You brought me to reveal the science of devotional service, but now you are yourself covering the science of devotional service by teaching this jnana. If your intention was to cover devotional service, why did you have to call me and make me incarnate here? Okay. So then he released Advaita Acharya and he went and sat at the doorway. And then he started speaking about his own glories. You know what? I only killed Kamsa, Brahma, Shiva, Shesha, Lakshmi. They all engage in my service. I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By my chakra, I killed, I burned Varanasi. I killed Ravana by my arrow. I defeated Banasur, Narakasur. Like that, I held Govardhan hill in my left hand. Like that, he started glorifying himself, his own prabhutva from his own mouth. And this exactly was what Advaita Acharya was waiting to hear. Shastipa e Advaita Paramanandamai hate tali diya nache kariya vinay. So, Shastipai Advaita Paramanandamai, when he got punished in this way, he became ecstatic, Advaita Acharya. He started clapping his hands. Hate tali diya. Nache kariya vinay. And he started dancing. And he spoke to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yena aparada kailun tena shasti pailun bhalai karila prabhu alpe edailun. I have received the proper punishment for my offense, but you are very kind that you gave me only a token punishment. Okay. And then he speaks many things. And then Kota gela ebe mora tomara se stuti Kota gele ebe tora se sabadhangati. He asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, now where is your glorification of me? Huh? Where has all your deceitful behavior of falling at my feet and glorifying me, where has it gone? Now you are glorifying yourself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Like that, he says. I am just essential, only some verses I am taking. So, and then at the end of it, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became embarrassed. He came back to his consciousness. He embraced Advaita Acharya and cried profusely. And seeing that, Nityananda Prabhu cried profusely. And Haridas cried profusely. And Achyutananda, the son of Advaita Acharya and Sita Thakurani, all of them were crying. And Advaita Acharya's house became filled with ecstatic love of Krishna. So, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu awarded a benediction to Advaita Acharya. He said, Tilarde koye tomara karaya ashray, sekene patanga kita pashu pakshi nai, yadi morastane kare shata apara, tata pitahara mui kariba prasad. He says, Tilar deko ye tomar karaya ashray. Even little bit, if someone takes shelter of you, whether it be an ant or an insect or an animal or a bird, okay? And even if such people may commit hundreds of offenses towards me, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, still, because they have taken little shelter of you, I will give them all kinds of benedictions, mercy. And then, after hearing this, Advaita Acharya began to cry, and he humbly spoke, and the conversation continues. We will not take it fully. So, we will end our discussion with, one or two verses as to what we should pray on this day to Sri Advaita Acharya by trying to meditate on the prayers of Srila Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya from Sri Advaita Ashtakam. Okay. So, he sings, Advaita Charanaravinda Jnana Dhyana Bhavanam Sadadvaita Pada Padma Renu Rashi Dharanam Dehi Bhaktim Jagannatha Rakshamama Bhajanam Sitanatha Advaita Charanaravinda Bhavanam. So he says, Advaita Charanaravinda Jnana Dhyana Bhavanam. The lotus feet of Sri Advaita Acharya should be the goal of our knowledge and the object of our meditation. Sadadvaita Pada Padma Renu Rashi Dharanam. And that person who always holds the dust from the lotus feet of Sri Advaita Acharya on one's head, what does Advaita Acharya give? Dehi Bhaktim. Sri Advaita Acharya gives him bhakti. And then Srila Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya says, Rakshamam Abhajanam. I am not a fit recipient of your mercy, my dear Advaita Acharya. Please protect me. Like that he offers prayers to Sri Advaita Acharya. Okay, so he says, Sarvadata Sitanata Praneshwara Sadgunam Ye Japanti Sitanata Pada Padma Kevalam Diyatam Karunanata Bhakti Yoga Tatshanam Sitanata Advaita Charanaravinda Bhavanam. So he says, this Sitanatha, the husband of Sita Thakurani, is Sarvadata. He is capable of giving all benedictions, Sadgunam, and all perfections. And Praneshwara, and Srila Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya says, he is the Lord of my life. Ye Japanti Sitanatha Pada Padma Kevalam. One who worships the lotus feet of Sri Advaita Acharya, Diyatam Karunanatha Bhakti Yoga Tatshanam. If you want the perfection of Bhakti Yoga, in a moment he can give. If only you worship the lotus feet of Sri Advaita Acharya. Like that. So on this most auspicious day of his appearance, let us try to meditate on his lotus feet, worship his lotus feet, try to assimilate his teachings, Acharyam Bhakti Shamsanat. The very cause of his descent was to teach Bhakti, preach Bhakti. Let us in our own capacity try to assimilate these teachings, practice Bhakti, and to our small capacity try to share this Bhakti with others. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Charitamrit ki jai, Shri Advaita Acharya Mahashaya ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.